Hi, I'm Chris Maragakis of Simply Be Retreats and Therapies. I'm a life coach, therapist and podcaster. Welcome to Mindful Mutterings. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about imposter syndrome because I've been asked to and because it bothers an awful lot of people. So essentially, it's when you feel a bit of a fraud. You know, maybe you feel that you can't charge for your services because you're not qualified enough, or maybe you don't feel you have smart enough premises. Maybe you think you're too young to be taken seriously. Maybe you think that you don't have the skills that you need to do the job that you're doing, or maybe you don't think you have enough qualifications. It can show up in any way. Maybe you don't think you're a good enough mum. You know, there are so many ways that it can show up, and essentially I want to tell you that firstly, you are not alone. There are lots of people that feel like this every day. And you also might find that you feel undeserving of praise or recognition, and maybe you hold yourself to higher standards than you would anybody else, and you're constantly pushing yourself to achieve a feeling of having made it, but then you never feel like you've got there either. And obviously this amount of pressure can cause stress and anxiety, overwhelm, and then ultimately illness caused by burnout. Often imposter syndrome is seen in high achievers or people with ADHD who feel that they don't fit in anyway, and strangely enough it's disproportionately found in women, resulting in them not applying for executive jobs because they don't feel they match the criteria perfectly, or because they put themselves under so much pressure to be perfect, or because they're given so many roles by society. And this obviously then prevents them from reaching their full potential. So if any of this is sounding familiar to you, then I'm sure you'd like to know how to overcome it. First thing, as always, be mindful. Becoming aware of the thoughts that are making you feel like an imposter is your first step. You have to know what it is that you need to change. Otherwise, it's just an awful sense of overwhelm, and you can't pinpoint what it is that's making you feel this way, and then you can't change it. So once you've become mindful and you know which thoughts are making you feel an imposter, then you can examine them for facts. And then when you're looking at the facts, you can then challenge the untruths, and then you can reframe the reality of the belief. So lots of us generalize and go, oh, I am, whatever it might be, I'm not qualified. But then you need to challenge that. So it's not true that you're not qualified. It's that you don't feel you're qualified enough, or you don't have a specific qualification that you feel that you need. And then once you've identified that, and once you can then challenge it, so do you actually need this qualification to do the job that you're doing? Is it a prerequisite of a body that you belong to? Is it an absolute for a job that you're applying for? Or is it just something that you feel that you need so that you would be better prepared to do the job? In which case, that's something you can aim for over time. But if it's not required by anybody else, then it's actually a limiting belief, and it's holding you back from becoming who you want to be or achieving what it is that you want to achieve. Then I would say let go of the need to be perfect. Firstly, there is no such thing as perfection. Everything and everyone has always the potential to be better. And secondly, while it's good to aim high, and we should strive, we should strive to be better all the time, striving for unreachable perfection is actually setting yourself up to fail, which of course in turn then reinforces your feelings of being an imposter. I would then say, accept the reality of who you are and how you are in this present moment, knowing that you, like everybody else, is on a journey of growth. We have to feel comfortable in our own skin before we can move any further. We have to be kind to ourselves, and we have to recognise who we are at this particular moment in time, and then we can work out where our strengths and our weaknesses lie, and then we can plan our life around them. We can play to our strengths, we can put things in place to improve what we see as weaknesses, which other people may actually see as benefits. So it's about getting to know yourself and accepting where you are right now, knowing that you aim to improve yourself. Don't be afraid to say you don't know. Whatever happens, you're still going to be the expert knowledge, but you can't possibly know everything. So instead, just say to them, I'm really sorry, I don't know that. I'll get back to you with an answer as soon as I can, and then do it promptly. The skill is in knowing where to look for the answer, and that's where we get our experience from. I mean, whatever role that you're in, you will have somewhere that, or someone that you can ask, and that's all you really need. No one is perfect, as I've already said, and everybody is allowed to say they don't know, so use it. But if you say you're going to get back to someone with an answer, make sure you do it promptly. And also, when you show up as, being a little bit vulnerable, in as much as I don't know, it humanises you. And then when you come back with a response, both of you will have learnt something new. Then I would say be kind to yourself. If you continue to berate and push yourself, you will burn out. It's not sustainable. So create space to take care of your well-being. Regular periods of peace and reflection enable us not only to think creatively and think calmly, but they allow us to problem solve more efficiently, and also they keep us well. Our body needs to rest and repair every day, and if we keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing our mind and constantly keeping active and busy with thought, it's going to break down, and then we're going to have long periods of time where we're ill or we're struggling with our mental health, and that's going to just reinforce the feelings of being an imposter as well. So be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and prioritise well-being. Accept your setbacks for what they are. We don't have all the answers. So when something doesn't go the way we think it should go, what it really is a learning experience. It's an opportunity to see how we could do things differently, or where we need to strengthen our skills. So once we start to do that, we become proactive, and we are guiding our life rather than being guided by it. And then celebrate your successes. Don't forget how far you've come. I think the problem is really, for a lot of people who struggle with imposter syndrome, is that they're constantly measuring themselves against someone else. And the truth of that is, we have no idea what other people are sharing. We see it on their social media, or they tell us things. But obviously, most people aren't going to tell us that they've had a really hard time, or that they've struggled to get what they are, or we don't even know what they've had to give up or sacrifice to get where they are now. And more importantly, we don't know if being where they are now is actually making them happy. So there's a lot of things we don't know about other people's journey, and like I said, we've got no way of knowing how many attempts. It might look like they're constantly succeeding. They may have been doing this for 20 years. Step back, don't judge yourself by other people's standards, and just learn from every experience, because the more that you learn, obviously the greater knowledge you have, and we learn best when things don't go well, and that gives us a shared experience with someone else that will help us to form that relationship and help move them forward, as well as us growing. So I think what I'm trying to say, to sum all this up, is that we should really stop measuring our worth by other people's standards. We are all unique with our own skills and gifts, and when we express them honestly and are showing up authentically in the world, obviously then it's impossible for us to be an imposter, because we are genuine, we are being who we are showing up and saying, yeah, okay, I'm not perfect. I might not know as much as someone else, but what I do know is this has been my journey, this is what I've discovered, and this is what I'm trying to share with you. And for so many people that will resonate, and that will be what they need to hear. And that's the same for everyone. That's why you have so many people in the same professions. That's why there's no competition. Women should be supporting each other in their endeavours. But across the board, we don't need competition, because what we need is as many people out there sharing as much advice and knowledge as they can, because the way that they say it will only resonate with certain people depending on how their journey's going. And so while you may not feel that you're as good as someone else, or you're as knowledgeable as someone else, or that they're doing it better than you, it's not that at all. It's just that they have a different path, and they have a different skill set, and they have a different story to tell, and that will resonate with the people that resonate with them. But that is not your story to tell. You are amazing, you are authentic. Once you accept that, then it changes how you are with everything else. So I would say, as always, if you've got any questions or comments, or you want to work with me, then please get in touch. And whatever you do this week, know that you are amazing, know that you are knowledgeable and you are successful, but then maybe you're measuring yourself against the wrong outcomes for you. Whatever you do, take care of you. Bye.